So I'm sitting here with G. Calvert, another rank member who's showing in this show, I Dreamt, I Woke Up, and she's in front of this impressive diptych, which is called I Dream Goya, I See Mandy. And I'm very intrigued by your painting. I've always been a fan of your paintings, I do like them. But when looking at this, particularly this diptych, it struck me how there's so much about relationship. So and you paint often diptychs or triptychs. So there's a relationship between each canvas, making up the whole piece, and you've got two couples on either side and the kind of lonely figure in the middle. I don't know, it was just speaking to me in that way. I don't know if that's something you intend or what's your thoughts?
Actually, Lucille, it's both true and untrue. In terms of this painting, it wasn't conceived in this way. So sometimes I do a painting and I look at the edge and I'm always like, I'm often adding to them or subtracting them. And I think where that comes from is being trained as a filmmaker and really, really loving the sequential image. Okay. And I think if you remember that one of the builders years and years ago.
Yes, I've seen that.
Where it says it's a guy spreading concrete and it's the same guy but almost 1 second between them. And I never have great joy in making a painting. I always want it to go on. I've been thinking about it, and I think the other thing is you've got the vertical and these are horizontal, and that never bothers me, although it does sometimes bother other people. And the other thing is about reading across, just kind of, where is that figure? Is she in the foreground? Where are they lying, these girls? And actually I'm really pleased that this has come together for this exhibition.
Yeah. I think it really works well.
And they were all done at different times.
Okay, so you put them together?
I put them together.
Okay.
But with some of there's the most recent one, there are ones that I consider together.
Yeah.
But what I love is then
So it is about the relationship. So you've got these paintings and then you're assembling them and feeling...
And also it's about, this one, she's very finished. She's got a very sort of clear background. She's almost like a cutout. And when I was conceiving for this show, I thought... I dream of making paintings like Goya, as good as Goya. Yeah. And then here is that classic Goya, that poster where he's in his hat, and you know it. Yeah. Perhaps it doesn't read. I mean, I could turn it the other way and probably see it. And then I don't know who this figure is. It might be Josie, or it might be half Josie, half me. But it's almost the classic of the Calvert. Pleased to be here,
Mr. Calvert.
Yeah.
You see, to me, it talks about. So there's that on one layer, and there's another layer. There's another narrative here that's maybe not conscious, not made. You're not trying. But it's like these are. So the Goya figure is like represents the artistic endeavour, Josie, your daughter, is like your relationship with your daughter, the central figure. These are all like, it seems to me the whole painting, this is where I see it, and it keeps on talking to me in this way, is about relationships and relating, and how do you relate,
and also
loneliness.
These girls, I painted them years ago. I took a photo of, I think when I was in Kingsgate Studio. Yes. And they were lying out in the sun. Yeah. And there is this other aspect of my life, or my painting, where I am very voyeuristic. I'm never without the camera, and I'm never without, and that is I can leave the studio, and the minute I see something in the street, that's why I could never paint if there weren't people about.
Oh yeah, you're not
country. The studio is like, forget it. Okay. But Mandy, she was somebody who I photographed many times.
Yes.
She had 3 kids that had been taken off her.
Oh.
So there was a real story to Mandy.
Exactly.
And Mandy, in the end, sat in my studio, and I gave her food because the shops had all banned her. And
it's interesting because
so
you can.
There was a whole relationship.
You really feel the sort of loneliness of the figure. That figure, it's interesting.
And I think she was Spanish or Brazilian.
Yes.
And she, and I felt because I'd taken those photos from it was when I had the big studio where I was looking down on the corner where I had and I watched her, and then somehow I'd taken photos, and somehow we started speaking, and then she used to come up to my studio and I'd give her tins of tuna and sugary drinks and things like that. And she drew in she loved it. Okay. And then I'd give her clothes and and also in a way, because she had a load of obviously issues with authority, there was a certain amount of other help I could give her. And then she did move. I think she got rehoused, and I kind of. But that's what I mean. I've just gone for. Okay, there's the colour. It was as arbitrary as that.
No, I understand, but there's another thing that I feel is very strong in it. It's like some sort of narrative that's coming from these paintings about, and it's to do with relating to one another and loneliness, and that's what comes really strongly to me.
You could encapsulate it as looking, being and hoping. What do you imagine as an artist? What do you dream of? You dream of being superb, and occasionally in the process of doing something you feel like, okay, the painting's talking to you, it's telling you what to do, and I think you get that moment in your paintings much more. I struggle to get that moment.
Well, I don't think you can be like, I think that's something you can't think about.
No, exactly.
That's something, that's a byproduct.
But
whether
it's quite, in a sense, the most energy that goes into things at the moment is that placing, putting that, doing that.
Yes.
Because using the big heavy paint and actually really is, I can't quite physically do that.
Yeah.
It's not only the space, it's actually the energy. It's the that's why they're so watery.
Yeah.
It's because it kind of like.
Because you think it will flow better?
Well, it isn't. Actually, it's forever rubbing it off.
Yes, okay.
So it's saying...
Yes, so if you have something watery, you can rub it off easier.
You can scrape it off,
yes.
You can redraw it, you can move the thing along, which you can also do with oil.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, you've really got to be in an open air space.
Or what, with thick oil?
With thick or thin oil. If you thin the oil too much, it goes very grey.
Are these acrylic?
This is acrylic. No.
Okay.
Did you think that?
I thought they were oils.
Well, I'm very pleased.
Yeah, I thought they were oils.
Because
it doesn't have that look of acrylic. Acrylic always looks...
Because it's very watery.
Yes, exactly.
And something like that, I love.
Yeah.
So I'm rough with them. I throw them around.
Yeah.
And then there are, in all these diptychs and triptychs, there's usually a read across. So you could take Mandy out. In fact, now I'm looking at it. I desperately want to put Mandy at the end rather than...
No, I think she works really well in the middle. I really think that's...
Because I'm kind of looking at the drips.
Yeah, no, but I really like that.
But it's like a puzzle.
I think that works good because she doesn't drip. And those two drip, horizontally. And she's vertical. That works really well.
Probably if she was at the end. She looked a bit stuck on.
Yeah, she wouldn't. Yes, exactly. No, I think it works really well. And I think there's an emotional punch to it that is very interesting and very strongly felt. Well, thank you, Jill, that was great. Thank you for talking to me.